call Allah Yahweh Bashem Yabashai Bashem Akakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone rule well. I am not a member, however, I've entered into their labors. Peace and mercy to the sincere brothers and sisters doing this wherever you are, whatever your lot may be. It's another quick one, during the week. Slight little edification. Prayerfully you are edified, but some slight edification. And we're going to bring out a couple scriptures, look at a video, and then that will be it. I'm going to start off Psalms 83 and 4, and then we're going to look at the video. They have said, "Come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel, or Yasharallah, may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom, the Ishmaelites of Moab, and not the Ishmael, and the Ishmaelites of Moab." So it's separate, right? We want to make sure I'll make that clear. "And the Hagarenes, Gebal, Ammon, and Amalek." So you see Edom is mentioned twice here. Amalek was the grandson of Esau, making him an Edomite. Okay. And the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. And I grabbed that because you see, they say this lady's going to go on to talk about how they want to erase or ban so-called black history, and that black is also a part of cutting us off from being a nation, as we just read in Psalms 83. There's many, many layers of this, but what this devil didn't count on is that the Spirit of the Lord, right, those two witnesses would come and preach, and Judah and Ephraim, who were oppressed together, or remember themselves in the land of their captivity, right? So roughly paraphrase. And I believe that's also in Baruch, but we'll get that as well. Point being that I should say, if you you ever heard the term "no face, no case"? All right, so our existence, meaning if there is no witness, there is no case, right? There's no case, then there is inevitably there is no judgment. All right, you get off scot-free from all your wickedness. All right, so let's let her go on and talk. So she's going to talk about so-called black history, but I'm going to relate, not only agree with so-called black, but we understand it is Israelite history, and it is not just Judah. It is not just the so-called black man. It is the so-called native and the so-called Latino / Hispanic, whatever it is. Everywhere Jake goes, they build a nation. They have made it better. They have made it greater. They have, built a salt of the earth. And again, this devil wants to erase that. Okay, especially moving into the NWO, moving into, their pseudo blessing that they wanted so bad, that they want so bad to come to fruition. But unfortunately, it's already written, man. You're done for. So let's let her do her thing. We'll get a couple scriptures and that'll be it.
Ban our history. They ban our history because black history, by definition, is political.
That's right.
Okay, so let's get, before because I want to know political. Okay, relating to the government or public affairs of a country, right? Relating to the ideas or strategies of a particular party or group in politics. That doesn't really interest or activity in politics. Okay, so basically, we are ingrained in the very fabric of this society. Our ancestors, our forefathers, blood, sweat, and tears literally are in the foundation of this nation. Okay, and they want to erase that. They want to, not only this nation, but around the world. Jake has been everywhere, right? That's why they want to, before the truth went out, you thought Europe was white. Or you thought Europe was a continent. As a matter of fact, everybody was dark-skinned, and Jake was there. The main characters of this great movie is Jacob and Esau, right? So, Jake has been everywhere. Jake was everywhere. And, Putin, I think, was it 2023 or maybe it was last year, 2024, brought out the busts and the tapestries of the saints in their actual form, the way they really looked. You got a lot of this is this revelation is coming out, and mainly starting with the truth, because they don't want you to know who you are. All right, not knowing Black history is simply just a single layer before you even unpeel the entire onion.
Because Black people, by definition, are political, right? Our history is political because every story of American greatness, every story of American exceptionalism you want to tell, here we are off to the corner. Say, how do you explain us?
That's right.
If all this is true, why are we here?
And it's to the point to where now, when I see a new invention, I type in, if I want to look in Google or something about some, so-called white man invented this or did that, I look up who actually invented it. The way I type it is who is the actual inventor. I don't say who is credited. You have to be very specific with that, because this devil is a liar, the father of it. He cometh after the workings of Satan.
If all this is true, how do you explain how you suppressed our rights for 350 years? How you bought and sold our ancestors? How you claim to be democratizing Europe, but denying violently democracy for Black people here? So we're the most inconvenient people to the story of American exceptionalism.
Right. You can't, as long as there's a witness, all right, there's a case against you, huh? Okay, let's get an oldie but a goodie. These are some. Oh wait, actually I don't even need that. I know where to go. Yeah, an oldie but a goodie here. This is basics. Deuteronomy 28, starting off with the curses. 25. The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them, and shalt be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. And I'm going to skip to 30. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt build an house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and shalt not gather the grapes thereof. And that, even to this day, damn near, is the very thing that is going on. Maybe not to the degree it was while they had us in chains, but make no mistake, America the bitter, all right, is still in full effect when it comes to the oppression of Jacob. I'm skip to 33. The fruit of thy land and all thy labor shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always. Right, but the punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished. All right, we're approaching the end of, our sentence, our harsh but due, just sentence.
So they want to ban our history because we give lie. Right? We reveal the lie of this country.
Right.
And we are heroes of that story. So what the research shows is that when you teach Black children Black history, they do better academically.
Absolutely.
Of course, it just goes without saying. Again, covering up the faces of the judges thereof, and that goes into the truth as well. If you knew that your Savior looked like you, there would be a lot more Nat Turner type incidents, which there were back then. They don't like to paint it, but you see this devil lies and they control the narrative. Okay, not only Job 9:24, the earth given into the hands of the wicked, he covered up the faces of the judges thereof, but also they go into controlling the narrative to where now when they make these movies, they are historically accurate, but aesthetically inaccurate. Is a complete and outright lie. All right, so every time you see somebody great, and also with the term black and white, which is another snare, white meaning pure, great, all these good things. And when black is used as a prefix to something, it's meant to be soiled, dirty, disgusting. And so they could. I lost my train of thought for a second. So they try to control the narrative here with that. And every movie you've seen about anything great, the Vikings, the rulers in Rome, which they did have Rome for a minute, but Jake ruled Rome. Jake ruled so-called Europe. All right, so of course they knew it was important to see people that look like you in positions of greatness and positions of power. That is why they changed the image of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai.
This is not
Absolutely.
shocking,
That's right. It's right.
right? If you see yourself in the story, then you have a powerful sense of who you are.
Sure.
And I know, this is why they ban our history, because once I got a little taste of black history, I became incorrigible as a student.
Imagine when you get a real taste, not only black history tied into the deeper meaning, which is who you actually are, which is an Israelite, and everything that went on for your bad, for the worse, and everything that happened for the good. All right. Speaking of the image, straight to the point here. Yahweh Shai said unto him, have I been so long time with you, and yet hast thou not known me, Philip? He that hath seen me hath seen the Father. And how sayest thou then, show us the Father? So not only does Yahweh Shai resemble Yahweh, but they are of one, meaning they are on one accord. That is why Yahweh Shai always said, I come to do my Father's business. 1 and 2, how does the Savior as a child flee into Egypt, which we know historically were full of dark brown people. All right, nobody is the color black. Okay, how could he flee into Egypt and hide from Herod? All right, how could our people go again into West Africa after the fall of Jerusalem in 70 AD and hide? Well, at least for a small time, they were able to hide. At least they were able to hide from Edom, but they can't hide from the Hamites. The Hamites know him. Yeah, Hamite knows a Hamite. They knew. They were like, nah, y'all look too good. Y'all smell too good. Y'all too fresh. Hey, Esau, Edom, we got something for y'all. And the rest was history, literally.
I was challenging everything, right? I would go up in social studies like, where are we? Why aren't you talking about this? What about this, right? And so all of a sudden, you don't just accept the narrative that they give you, and you start to challenge it.
Right.
And you start to have an understanding. So because of this class I took at 15 years old with a black educator named Mr. Ray Dow.
But yeah, she said you don't accept the narrative, and the rest of that is her going into something else. Or excuse me, so we don't need that anymore. But yeah, all the more, or not all the more, but yeah, when you learn about your history, Babylon and Timbuktu and the Tuskegee Airmen and the Tuskegee Experiment, how there were Israelite rulers in Rome and all these other things. You see that, you start to question the narrative, and then how much more when you really actually know something, and then you find out that you're an Israelite, and that you find out that as far as world ruling, you were there, your people, us, that was it, that was us, and it will be restored. That very thing is going to be restored. Let's go second Esdras, and I'm not going to be very long here. I'm going to get 6 and 28. 6 and 28, but also one of my favorite scriptures, verse 9, I want to get is as well. So we'll read 9 first, 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Okay, and then I want 28. Okay, because this is what you're seeing now, the actual truth, real knowledge being brought out. And then it's like a wave, okay? It's like a ripple effect. So the strongest waves or as soon as you drop a rock in the ocean, that wave starts to spread out. It's very, very heavy and concentrated, or small and tight knit, and then it spreads and it's heavy. Gosh, what am I trying to say? It's very small and tight knit in the beginning, and then the more it spreads, the wider the waves get. Now, the only thing with that is, you got 2/3 of our people who, have a zeal, but, it's not according to knowledge, or they don't fully grasp this truth. And that is the parable of, the seed sower. Some sowed it on sand, some sowed it on rock, right? You can get that on your own. But those who were blessed to give and were given the understanding, or to receive the understanding, that this truth has gone out and it has made waves. All right. As for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome. And the truth, which hath been so long without fruit, shall be declared. And you're seeing it from the men of the great millstone and those that preach the like doctrine. All right. Even if you have some malcontent, right? Some malefactors that want to come and try to use bits and pieces of what they understand and then they pervert the truth. It goes out. That's still all a part of the Lord's plan, because it'll just be for their destruction. Or, somebody that is meant to be of the elect will hear that person, and then, the more they grow, they'll say, well, I don't think he was right about X, Y, Z, or whatever. And then you continue to learn, and then and your discernment grows, and then you know who to listen to and who not to. Okay? And then I'll give you a quick little answer to that pop quiz. It is the men of GMS and those that preach the like doctrine. Nobody else. All right, so with that being said, quick edification during the week, a couple of scriptures that we can grab. And again, I pray that you are edified. On to the next.